The Zimbabwean leader Robert Mugabe has been seen in public for the first time since the military takeover on Wednesday. He's attended a university graduation ceremony in the capital, Harare. Earlier, the military said talks with Mr Mugabe were continuing and there'd been significant progress in the operation targeting what it called the criminals surrounding him. Ben Brown reports from Zimbabwe.
By virtue of the authority vested in me,
he was supposed to be under house arrest, but today it looked like business as usual for Robert Mugabe, awarding degrees to university graduates in Harare and even walking down a red carpet. So, after this week's dramatic military takeover here, is he still president or not? Out on the streets, no one seems quite sure. Right across Zimbabwe, millions of people are waiting and watching to see what happens next in this crisis, and whether the rule of Robert Mugabe after 37 years is finally coming to an end. After decades of political oppression and economic disaster, Zimbabweans are hungry for change, almost any kind of change.
We don't want Mugabe anymore. Please, everyone go to the streets and move around. No one likes Mugabe. And this time we are going to tell him we don't want him. He must go.
The country's been going backwards. We can't reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already been invented. This country is going down and down and down. We've got to pick it up.
We need better things to happen in this country. We're tired of begging food for my baby to put on the table. No, we say no to that. We need better things here to happen in this country.
The Zimbabwe Defense Forces, the ZDF, say significant progress has been made in their operation.
Robert Mugabe has been negotiating with the head of the army here, General Constantino Chiwenga. But it still isn't clear whether Mr Mugabe is trying to cling to power or to negotiate a dignified exit in which he would step down in return for guarantees about his safety and that of his family. If that happened, one scenario could be a transitional government run by ZANU-PF, but including members of the opposition. Zimbabwe, once again, is at a crossroads. Ben Brown, BBC News, Zimbabwe.
Well, our senior Africa correspondent Anne Zoy is in Zimbabwe and she joins us now. Anne, what do you know about the state of the negotiations?
Well, they have been going on. It is a delicate and difficult process, given that we understand Mr Mugabe is hesitant to step down at this point in time. He would much rather wait until December when he steps down as the leader of the ruling ZANU-PF party, and then next year when the planned elections are scheduled to take place, in which then he would not defend his seat. However, the end looks very imminent. There are already talks within his ruling party, ZANU-PF, for a possible vote on Sunday to decide whether he remains, and if that passes, then they may vote to impeach him. However, we understand the offer is if he chooses to step down, then there would be no implications for him and his wife.
How likely is that, though, I wonder? He's proved very resilient and defiant in the past, hasn't he?
That's right. He's been very resilient. He's gone through disputed elections and still continued to rule this country. He has withstood the challenge from the West, for instance, through the economic sanctions. He has withstood so much, but there are three critical institutions or organizations in this country that are speaking out. One is his party, ZANU-PF. The other one is the military, which has made it very clear that they need to change the way things are run in this country. And the other one is the war veterans. The war veterans have spoken out today, and they have said that they have given him an ultimatum to step down immediately. And they have called for a rally tomorrow here in Zimbabwe and asked the Zimbabweans to join them to put pressure on Mr Mugabe to step down.
And in the meantime, who is actually running the country at the moment?
The military appears in control, and they appear to be managing things, including allowing him to attend the graduation ceremony today. However, they say that he remains president, and we interpret this to mean that they want to show him respect. He is still respected as an independence icon in Zimbabwe, and so they wouldn't want to humiliate him, even though he has already been humiliated by being put under house arrest. They would want a dignified exit for him. However, if he chooses to remain defiant, they may be forced to use to exert more pressure on him, including impeaching him.
Thanks, Anne. Anne Soy, our senior Africa correspondent in Zimbabwe.